Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today I'm going to be talking about how there are certain limits to everyone's openness when it comes to terms of sexuality. But it's still something I wanted to address, I guess, through my own experience, through my perceptions, and in general, I guess it's something I've suffered from in the past because I always felt like, well, I have to be more open to different people, to different experiences. I've been with non-binary people, and obviously there are exceptions when it comes to attraction and etc. But I felt like, what if there is a sort of indeed a limit? And I think I spoke about it earlier on the channel, but I still wanted to raise it. Like, obviously, I've tried my luck with women or whatever because I'm poly. So I really wanted to see, like, if it would be something I'm interested in, if I'd be in the vibe. And obviously, when I was just starting, see, my sex drive was like over the roof and everything. So it was something I explored, unfortunately, because it did not end up good for me. I ended up opening up to bad people, and ultimately I understood that it was not the the dynamics I wanted, not the dynamics I felt comfortable with, and I just couldn't understand the appeal of women for myself, frankly. So, and all of this kind of rose to my attention even more because, again, I'm poly, um, and I'm also in an open relationship, so sometimes I just enjoy the company of other men on Grindr. So I was talking to this guy, and he had been trying to get me to sleep with him for around like since March or something. So we meet up, we do the thing, and it was so lackluster, and I really complained to a lot of my close friends that he had the absolute worst smelling dick I've ever seen or smelt in my life of hookups, up to the point that I had to spit out mid blowjob because it was so bad. And I just didn't want anything about that pre-cum and anything at all. Sorry for the TMI. Anyway, and so then we kind of finish everything, and then he says a transphobic remark that, like, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it if you already had bottom surgery. And I was like, well, okay. And then he goes on, like, in this really weird realization, and I'm like already not feeling good because he's being transphobic. And then he's like, I'm really not gay. And I'm like, well, you slept with a guy. And he's like, yeah, but this was curiosity. I didn't like this. And he did complain like throughout it, and I wasn't having that much of a, well, it wasn't that great, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. His dick tasted and smelled awful for some ungodly reason, which was not a hygiene issue. And then he just goes like, yeah, I think I experimented enough, I think I'm really straight. And then that made me question, like, well, we did the deed. um and everything. And also, this made me kind of go into my own sort of fetish area because I cross dress sometimes. I enjoy it as a fetish. So basically, I wondered, like, because obviously some people say like, "Hey, I'm straight," when you're in the cross dressing sphere and etc., and you're like, "Well, okay, whatever." And I was talking about this to my partner, and we're like, "Well, maybe this is indeed the first straight dude I ever slept with." Which legit is like, what is it, a zero in the Kinsey scale? Yeah, I think it's a zero in the Kinsey scale if you're straight. So basically, it was very strange to look back at this, and he felt so uncomfortable that when we were walking back, He went the opposite way, where from where his house was, he climbed up a hill. So it was pretty much like, I was joking to my friends about it, and I was like, yeah, no homo climbs up a hill. So it was very, very weird. I truly hope I'm not revealing anything too much, but it was a bad experience. And at the same time, one of my closest friends like, expose him. But I'm not here to expose. I'm just here to just say what made me think about these things. So it did make me question, like, what if we are in this sort of place where sometimes being too open is bad? For instance, because I feel like I was way too open when it comes to women, and I got hurt because it wasn't something I was comfortable with. It wasn't something I actually wanted. I just felt like I should be open to everyone who is interested in me, frankly. And that led me to dangerous situations. It led me to situations where I'm not comfortable. So then, looking obviously at the other side of the coin, at a guy who felt very, I guess, not into the idea that he slept with the dudes, and in general, it made me realize that what if indeed we do have our limits? Like, that guy's limits was, he tried it because, well, you want to be open-minded. You want to see, like, what if sex is just sex? What if you're still attracted to dudes? What if you're still attracted to women? Whatever. And that really made me question, sort of, indeed, what if there is a strong limit and we shouldn't cross it? Because we're always told, like, to be encouraged by exploring. That exploration is good, curiosity is good. But at the end of the day, it really made me wonder, like, what if we do have our hard limits and we should respect? Because again, you can end up in dangerous situations. You won't have your gut feeling. You won't feel comfortable. You're forcing yourself to do something just because it's something that you're supposed to be open-minded. Like, for instance, I closed myself from a woman, and even though, like, obviously I still am attracted to non-binary people, I still really, really limit the non-binary exposure. Because I know where my limits are with non-binary people, I know my exceptions, and etc. But when it comes to women, it's a hard no. And when it comes to, like, Grindr, I really kind of say, like, yeah, I'm just interested in men regardless, obviously, transverses. Because I've been with trans guys in the past, and I don't see the division, obviously, because men are men. And but it still feels like it's something that I ought to put, because this is where I guess I get a bit annoyed. Of course, there's trans women on Grindr, and I have nothing against it at this point, because I understand that it's still kind of a safe space. And trans women have been on Grindr for ages. Grindr is planning to kick them out, but I do feel very uncomfortable from the fact that they message me, and the woman, like, I get messages from them which are really uncomfortable, where, like, I can openly say that the worst messages I've gotten were from trans women on Grindr. And it's really sort of fetishy. It's, oh, I want you to do this, because you have this. And I don't get that, like, from verse bottom, I don't know, top gay guys. Like, then obviously then that raises also the question, why are trans women doing on Grindr? And I do feel like I'm just tired of that discussion at this point. You want to be there, honey? Be there. Don't touch me. I won't touch you either. So I do feel like people expect others to be more open. And we are expected to be more open. And it shouldn't be that way. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know your sexuality, if you're confident in this, you shouldn't be opening towards someone. Obviously, if you have a connection, then you should think about it. But it shouldn't be anyone who knocks on your door is welcome. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to talk about today. Anyway, not to blabber on, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give a like. Please give me a thumbs up. Comments if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Please share to make my channel grow, because I really feel like I'm gonna poke my eye at this point. Thank you very much for watching.